The Frozen Freesia by Emily Joyce. This voyage on the counting ship is for everyone who likes adventures, and in particular for a special friend of the counting ship called Malakai. If you want to be a friend of the counting ship, then don't forget to subscribe. Now, my friend Malakai is already aboard the counting ship with his dog, a gorgeous Malamute called Baloo. Malakai and Baloo are world-famous explorers, and they've said we can join them for a wonderful adventure. Would you like to join? Are you ready? Then come aboard and let's begin. It might feel warm now, but we're going to the cold, cold, northernmost part of the Indigo Oceans. We're sailing far, far north of the Emerald Islands and up to the Frozen Lands. Malakai is going to navigate us on a special route through the famous glittering icebergs. They're very beautiful, but hardly anyone ever sees them, because you have to be an expert navigator to weave through icebergs. And as you begin to look around with your mind's eye, you can see glittering icebergs looming above us. These special icebergs are famous for their frosted tips of sparkling blues and greens and pinks. Look at this one, completely white, except for a tip of shimmering gold. It's as if it's lit up from the inside with a golden light that peeps through the very top. And they tower so high above us as we sail past, like colour-capped mountains. And as we approach the shore, I can see three friends that we know very well. It's Penny, George and Colin, our penguin friends. So let's drop the anchor and head onto the shore. And Baloo the dog must know these special penguins too, as he's bounding over to give George a big kiss on the beak.
Hey, Baloo, stop licking me face. I wouldn't do that if I were you, Baloo. You don't know where he's been.
Hello, you three. It's so good to see you again. Emily, Malakai, I didn't know you knew each other. What are you doing here again? Well, Malakai and Baloo and I are going on an adventure.
An adventure? Great, I love adventures. Can I go, Penny? Can I? I was just saying this morning that I want an adventure more than anything.
No, you didn't. You said you wanted an ice cream more than anything.
Oh, yeah. But I didn't get an ice cream, and I don't get to go on adventures either. I never get anything I want.
What are you talking about? You had an ice cream? Why do you think Baloo's still licking your face?
Oh, yeah, I did, yeah. Tutti Frutti. Wait, Baloo, where are you running off to? Don't you like Tutti Frutti?
Baloo has some friends of his own to see, says Malakai, as he watches his four-legged friend run into the white, out of our sight. He'll join us later, says Malakai. Now we must head off in search of the Frozen Freesias.
What's a Frozen Freesia?
My mum has the most beautiful garden, says Malakai. But every winter, when it's covered with snow, you can't see any of the beautiful flowers. But Frozen Freesias love the snow, and they grow all the way to the top of the snow and bloom like a flower made of ice, he says. I bet that looks lovely, but I've never seen them. Where do you get them from? on the highest peak of those glaciers, says Malakai.
Well, no wonder I've never seen them. That's past the Saustrugi.
The Saustrugi? What are they? I'll explain on the way, says Malakai. Come on, Emily. We'll have to leave now if we're going to find the Frozen Freesia before nightfall. Goodbye, you three.
See you later.
Goodbye.
Take care, you lot.
So let's head off towards the glaciers. Feel your boots sink into the soft snow as we walk into the whiteness and deep into the frozen lands. And aren't you curious to know what Saustrugi are? Let's ask Malakai to explain. Well, Saustrugi are snow dunes sculpted by the wind, says Malakai. But why don't the penguins walk there? Because the winds here are rather mysterious, rather magical, and penguins are notoriously suspicious, says Malakai. The wind doesn't just sculpt the snow into dunes. It sculpts them into all sorts of shapes. You'll see. And as we walk a little further, pulling our heavy boots in a path towards the dunes, we can feel that magical wind whipping up softly past our cheeks. And as it blows gently on the dunes, some of the snow is scattered. And as some of the snow is blown away, the remaining shape is, why, it almost looks like a rocket. Malakai, look. The wind has blown the snow away, and what's left behind looks just like a rocket. That's not all, says Malakai. And he moves his hand to touch the snow sculpture, and it takes off into the air. See it zoom up into the sky. And as we watch, it explodes like a firework, a snowy firework. And the firework turns to flakes of snow that drift over our heads and back down to the ground. That was beautiful. Let's keep going and keep your eyes peeled for other snow sculptures created by the magical blusters of the wind. Look, that looks like a snow dolphin. I can just see its head peeping out of the snow. Why don't you touch it and see what happens? And as you touch it, the dolphin clicks hello and leaps all the way up into the air. Its body an arc of pure white flippers and fins, and it disappears back into the snowy ground, as if it's diving into the sea. And suddenly it reappears on the other side of us, jumping right over us and back into the snow, just as if it were a real dolphin leaping in and out of the water. This is incredible. And as we walk a little further on, standing just on the edge of a frozen pond, is a snowman. But he's not like any snowman I've ever seen. His face and his arms and his legs are so realistic, beautifully sculpted. He's even wearing a pair of ice skates. He's looking across the pond at a snow woman who has an arm reaching across to him. If I go and put my hand on the snow woman and you put your hand on the snowman, there, it's as if they've come to life as they skate across the pond and into each other's arms. And at first they hold each other's hands as they dance in a wide circle around the edge. And now he's taking her waist and lifting her high into the air, and she raises her arms up before landing gracefully on the surface of the pond. And now they're spinning around and around on the spot, and they go faster and faster until you can hardly tell one from the other, and then they vanish in a flurry of snow that's scattered into that mysterious wind. I've never seen sculptures like this before, and we've been so distracted I didn't even notice that we've climbed all the way to the top of the highest peak. And Malakai has already spotted something. He's calling us over. It's the Frozen Freesias, the most delicate flower I've ever seen. They have long white stems, and the buds look like tiny shoots of frost. But as they bloom into a flower of clear ice, with petals that look like the most intricate, delicate glass. How wonderful. I think your mum will like them very much, Malakai. I only need to take her one, says Malakai. This winter, when the snow covers our garden, she can use it to grow some frozen freesias of her own, he says. And then her garden will have flowers all year long. And he carefully picks one of the delicate freesias and places it in a glass bottle for the journey home. But Malakai, I didn't realize how dark it was getting. And after climbing all the way to the highest peak, our legs are beginning to feel heavy and tired. Don't worry, says Malakai. Here comes Baloo, and he's brought his friends. And sure enough, bounding through the snow comes Malakai's dog, Baloo, with 20 of his doggy friends. And just like Baloo, they all have thick, glossy coats of warm fur. But what's that they're pulling behind them? Why, it's a sleigh. I always wanted to try riding on a dog sleigh. So let's pet the dogs to say thank you for coming to take us home. Aren't they friendly, with their soft fur and their sweet little faces, wagging their tails and licking our hands? So let's settle down into this plush sleigh. It's full of soft, warm blankets for us to snuggle down into. And Malakai and Baloo are going to guide the other dogs on a safe ride back to the counting ship, to our beds, and off we go. So you can just relax and notice how comfortable you feel. We've had such a tiring adventure, so maybe your legs feel heavy and your arms feel heavy and your eyes getting heavy now under the blankets as we ride in a dog sleigh pulled by Baloo and his friends as Malakai guides us home. I hope you can join me for another adventure aboard the counting ship soon. Good night.